I'd like to introduce a friend of mine. Speaking of new neighbors, reminds me of something. Somebody told me a long time ago, we moved here almost 40 years ago, somebody told me, no matter how long, if you've moved in, you're a new neighbor. We were very blessed to have Mary Warner as our neighbor when we moved here. A wonderful woman of God that we love so much. And Carla is her daughter. And so you know that the apple, daughter-in-law, yes, you know that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree when it gets married to the tree next door, I guess. Now we'll be there. But it's a blessing to know her. God has given her not just 2 hearts, but 3 hearts. So she's one up on us, because the promise from God is that when you trust Jesus, He gives you a new heart. Well, He gave her a spiritual heart and a physical heart as well. And we're so blessed that she's here today. Every time I speak to her, she tells stories and gets me raptured. So no more delay. Lord, thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, Mary Warner's daughter-in-law, Miss Mary, she'll be 97, God is willing. She'll be 97 next month. In good spirit and all. I mean, she doesn't need no assistance walking or canes or crutches, anything like that. It's just, she's small and she's fragile. I mean, her health is fragile, so she could easily pick up a cold or, any little thing. So the girls that take care of her daughters, they try to be very careful with her. But when I came out here, I've been out there 18 years, but I've known her all my life because her grandmother used to babysit me and my sister and brothers because it was 8 of us. And when my mother got work, I'm born and raised in Middleburg. So when my mother was able to get work, her grandmother would watch us, So she talks about her all the time. Her name was Bessie Barnett. So she talks about her all the time. But in the meantime, Miss Murray's doing great. She's active with her church. She's a mother of New Zion Baptist Church. This is the second church that's off of San Fred Road. The first one was down at Mabaquar, off of, Lime Kill? And that one burned down. That was the first church. So that one burned down, and she was going there. In fact, she got baptized right there at Goose Creek. All of them that went to that church, they got baptized in a creek down there. So in the meantime, they built the new one, which is off San Fred Road. And she's the mother of that church. And then they also, I don't know if you all knew the Bermans or not, they lived out there off of San Fred Road. He was a deacon in the church, and his family, they were landowners out of San Fred Road. But his son, Roger, is in that group, the Spiritual Harmonizers. So Miss Murray's like the mother of that group. So when she hears them, oh my God, you would think you were at a rock concert. You can't make her sit down. So the girls would go, sit down and be quiet. But in the meantime, I'm trying to get something together for her. She won't be able to attend, but I'm trying to get, it's not trying to, and I'm getting it together, a program for her in her name. For her church. She worked, for several people in the village. She worked for the Walshes, which lived in Philomont. Some of them did. And then the one lady lived here, right, if you all know, at the corner house. Yeah, she worked there a long, long time. And then she worked for Mrs. Evans up there because she helped with the hunt. Every hunt breakfast, her, Murray, and Sarah help with those breakfasts until, Miss Murray got to the age she was kind of mixing up things, She thought they should have had, hominy grits and stuff like that. It was just a simple ham and biscuit breakfast and, champagne. But she worked for another farm that they turned into, and I didn't come with the name. They turned it into this resort. It's not a resort, it's like
Delta Farm.
Yes.
Delta Farm.
Presbyterian Center.
Yes, she worked at Delta Farm a long time. Her daughter, her grandsons worked there also. They got a lot of history out here. This is the only place they've been, I'm gonna be honest with you, in this little strip, you know, of Philomont. I do know when her and Sammy's stepfather, when they bought the place over here, Fenton was a plumber. He was a plumber, he was
All my plumbing in my house.
yeah, he was a plumber, he was an electrician.
And there's still some places in there.
My father, my father built the
Well,
brand.
went up on New Year's Day,
Did
and came up
He
and
came up and
fixed it
fixed
that
it.
day.
Strangest thing, I don't think Fenton ever stepped foot in a high school as I know of. He may have went like as far as the 7th grade, but he knew the job. I will never forget it, my father built a brand new house in Leesburg. And my mother, she was so angry with my father because she said, why didn't you get the basement finished? He said, I got the right person to finish it for me, and it was Fenton. And he came down there and he worked on it, you know, several evenings during the week, and he got it completed. Miss Murray would be with him at times. But what's the craziest thing about Miss Murray? She knew, she used to drive. She didn't have a driver's license. She knew eventually, if she didn't get a license, she would get caught. So she goes on down Leesburg, gets a driver's license. She was about in her 50s, and she got it. She surprised herself, she got it. So, and careful driver, she tried to be. You know, I wouldn't ride with her though. I wouldn't ride with her. But she drove, and she did. So, one time before she stopped driving, a deer hit her. She said the deer hit her, but I think she hit the deer. She said the deer hit her. So they went on and, you know, undid the battery and took the ignition out and everything. Because she was still trying to drive. And I mean, she was like, Miss Murray was in her early 80s then. In fact, she didn't stop work till she was 80. And they thought it was about time that she stopped. But a lot of people know her. She's got a big family. She was a Smith. It's a lot of Smiths in St. Louis, a lot in Middleburg. I don't know if you all knew Miss Katie Smith, Buck Smith. He was in St. Louis. He was my baseball coach, in fact. Big family. And then her husband, you know, the Warners, they're all related to the Lloyds. It's the craziest thing. I asked Miss Murray one day, I said, when you met Sammy's father, she said, yeah, we were courting. And you know Randy that comes by the store, Randy Lloyd. Okay. Randy had an uncle, and his name was Asbury. Okay. Everybody know Asbury, Lloyd, most people do. Well, Sammy's father, his sister, they introduced her to Asbury. So they used to double date. And she ended up marrying Asbury. Yeah. So.
And this is Randy and lives off of Turkey Roost?
Yeah, that Randy, yeah. They used to live all down here. You go down the road, but they sold off the family property.
Do you know?
You remember Rosalie? I know y'all probably remember
The
her.
two sisters and
Right.
Catherine.
Do you know any of the history or stories about the family cabin down by Beaver Dam Bridge?
Oh, yeah.
Where the Lloyd sisters.
Where Mary used to live.
I probably could get some
Yeah.
for you. I probably could get some. Because my sister-in-law, she's in the Lloyd family. Yeah.
Mhm.
And Asbury actually was one of the speakers when they had the really big Mickey Gordon Park
Yes,
thing in
yes.
Middleburg. His
I
daughter,
knew Mr. Mickey too.
I think his daughter brought him to that, and he told stories. He
Right.
had a lot of stories. But
Oh, I
yeah,
can
it was-
imagine.
They would just,
Well-
he just said they would just walk out into the woods and just find a straight stick
Yeah.
and I can't remember how much he said they spent for a baseball. It was crazy. But that's what they would
It's
they would
amazing.
just play there.
It's amazing. He's still living. They
Yeah.
took him off the road. He had an accident. Well, he went off the road and he had his grandson with him. And it really upset him. But that child, kids are so smart now. And do you know that child was able to stop that truck? Yeah, it was a full-size truck and that kid somehow slid over to his lap and he stopped that truck. Yeah, he did.
And Asbury had the house in Lincoln that burned.
Yeah, he had a house in Lincoln that burned down. He's got his oldest daughter. She's planning a party for one of the sisters, so I'll see them in the next couple of weeks.
You told me a story a couple of days ago about Uncle Harry. And-
Oh, yeah. It's an amazing thing. But Harry was Miss Murray's, I would say, uncle-in-law. It was her husband's uncle.
Mhm.
His name was Harry Warner. It used to be a couch on that porch
From the
Or-
store.
at the store. And Sammy's uncle would come there and he would tap dance. Well, not tap dance, buck dance. He would dance on that porch. Not for money, he just danced. He'd have a rhythm in his head and he would just buck dance on that porch. And my mother, we would see him, because my mother used to bring us to the store for penny candy when we would bring Sammy's great-grandmother home. And she'd drive us up to the store and he would be up there. And people would stand around and watch him. You know, I don't know if Billy's wife remembers him or not. Do you remember Harry?
Oh, yes, I got pictures of him.
Do you?
I was just now looking for him on my phone.
Yeah, he was a big man, big tall man.
Him and Truman Halls. I got a picture of both of them on the
Yeah.
store porch.
Oh,
Miss
yeah.
Hanson?
Not dancing.
I gotta tell you about Truman.
Oh.
Him and Miss Murray were best of buddies. They were very, very close friends. She fixed fried chicken for him once a month.
No.
It was the same day every month. She fixed fried chicken for him 30+ years. Yeah. In fact, me and my husband bought the house of that Truman built. He told me when I came out here, he came down, he knocked on the door. He said, "Can I come in for a minute?" I said, "Yes, sir, you can." He said, "I gotta tell you about this house." He told me from the well how deep it was, how he built it. He said, "If you need to know anything about this house, just come up and knock on my door and I'll tell you about it." Nice guy. But him and Miss Murray were very, very close. Truman would trade in cars and, well, he'd have a car and he'd call her, "Murray, I got a car, I've been looking at a new car, you want this one?" She said, "I'll be right up." And he would let her, she'd buy that car from me. I've taken her to the bank where she, you know, I would go by and see Mr. Truman and said, "How much should I get?" And he said, "I will work it out. Just bring me something," you know, so I didn't know what to bring him. So I go by, you know, we go to the bank and I come back. They sit down and talk and she said, "Didn't you tell me that about it?" He said, No, he'll knock $300-400 off of it. Because they were friends, you know. And when she had gotten word that he had passed on, it broke her heart. Because they were very, very close. Bob, too. Bob across the
Yes.
street.
Bobby Longaby.
And Bob was the same as the baseball coach. And they'd go to baseball games and it was such a good team. Some of the boys didn't want to play him. They didn't want to play him. They said, you know, they were so good, you know, because the game would be over quick. You know, they'd have 12, 15 runs, you know, the other boys were like, "Why are we still playing?" But Bob would take them. He would take them. Yeah, he
And where
did.
did they play?
Where did they play? I don't know exactly, you know. They were just a little country boys team to go around, I guess, to St. Louis, Mulberg, you know.
They had the fields in St. Louis as well.
Yes, because I played, and I'll be honest with you, I played softball in St. Louis. There was some baseball, oh my God.
Was it where the school is or was it someplace else?
What school was
School is.
it? That's why I know they're talking about renovating and all
Yeah.
that dangerous field. Groundhog holes. I played right field and center field, and you run out there and run upon a hole you didn't know it was there, you're in a world of trouble. But, yeah.
You said Mary's not working anymore, but I know Mary Lee leaves sticks in the yard.
Oh,
somewhere
yes.
Because
She
Mary
picks up
loves to
anything.
collect sticks in the yard.
She's a working woman. She came down one day, she told me, she said, "You know, you need to do them windows." I said, "Yes, ma'am, I've been putting it off. I'm gonna get it done." And before I know it, she went in, found the Windex, found the paper towel. I said, she had 2 done. I hadn't even finished 1. Yeah, she's a workhorse. And when I came up here, my mother had passed, and I had my father with me, and he had bone marrow cancer. And when I came up here, I had a girl taking care of him, and suddenly she just didn't show up. So I had to call Mom. I said, "Mom, I need your help." I came missing more time from work because my job had moved to West Virginia. I was working, for a company over there, and we were in Reston, but they moved to West Virginia. And I'd call at 5:30, 6:15, she'd come. I had to have somebody there because hospice was involved, and you can't leave a person alone. The hospice had to get in. So Miss Murray would come, she'd fix him a breakfast. I said, fix you breakfast too. And she'd fix breakfast for him and her. And they'd have breakfast when the hospice came in to visit. But she, like I said, all the churches, she started Bible study on Wednesday evenings. Back then, they didn't have it at church because there wasn't that many people. Because they had Austin Grove up here at Rock Hill. When you go out here to Airmont and take a left, and you go back to the cemetery on here. Rock Hill is right, up there.
That's where Harry is, right?
Huh?
That's where Harry is?
Yes, that's where her
I've been there.
is.
But not Ebenezer, it's not Ebenezer, but it's Rockville,
No, it's called Austin Grove.
Austin Grove.
And then they had Powell Grove right around the corner from the store up here at Airmont. And Miss Murray and all of them, they go to each other's houses and have Bible study. And that's how a lot of people met her. And she's got one friend, he's 100. He just turned 100. She didn't get to see him, to visit him. And he's a Howard. And Joe Howard, that's his name. And he just turned 100. But it's just amazing how these people live. You know what I mean? They've worked all their lives, and it hasn't been that easy of work that they did. But they are long livers. I'd like to know the secret.
Good food.
Good food, like Miss Murray said, good wine. Yeah, homemade wine. Yeah, she would make dandelion wine.
Yeah.
I couldn't drink it. It was a little too strong for me. But she'd have dandelion wine. And I loved her so because on a hot day, she have an ice cold beer. So always said, her and Fenton always had beer in an ice chest. Fenton had an ice cooler, chest. And he always had a cold Budweiser in that chest. Be just as cold and good. But they were nice people though. Very, it was amazing how they got their place. Fenton had talked to his boss man.
You're talking about the place she lives in now?
The place she lives in right now.
Where is that now?
Right down the street here.
You know where Sarah Warner lives?
Yeah,
It's down that road.
Oh, okay.
Down that driveway, right.
thank you.
You're welcome. And then when her and Fenton went to get the place, Fenton went to his boss man and told him he was thinking about buying that place. And Fenton didn't have a whole lot of money, but he worked. Fenton was one of the type of people, he worked till 10, 11 o'clock at night. Yeah, he did. And I mean, one of the best, electrician and plumbers that you would ever know that to not have no education. That's,
It's good.
I mean, even to the newest stuff that's out now, I would take Fenton to Cornwall down to the medical building down there, and people knew him. He said, "Oh, you work for Mr. Fair. I know you work for them." They knew. So when they got that place, Miss Murray told me it was 1956. It was a family member of the Warners had it. And they were losing it to taxes. And Fenton went to his boss man and told him, "I really would like to have that place." And his boss man said, "We'll work it out.
Good.
You just work with me, pay so much out of your check, when you work extra."
So did they, Drew referred to the house the other day that goes down past Dave's house. That makes that turn and goes on down into the woods right next to the creek. Is that where they moved from to go to that house?
It was a house down there, you're certainly right.
And Mary lived in
Because
it.
she lived in that house,
Yeah.
they had a well. They had a water house, like, what do you call it?
Spring house.
Spring house. They had a spring house down there. And they used to get the water and everything.
Several members of the family were born in that house.
Yeah, certainly were.
Dave, is that the house down behind your?
Yeah.
In between us? Okay.
So
The
the
old-
house is
the old
still
cabin?
standing?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
almost standing.
Almost. Well,
Yeah.
almost there.
Okay. Because Sarah told me that she lived in that too.
Yeah, she certainly did. And I remember when the gentleman came up to buy the land, because I told Sammy when I had talked to the owner that had that lot there, you know, and I said, Sammy, we should jump on that land. No, we don't need that much land. I see, you're not seeing the picture. You know, I saw the picture, I said, I had the cash in the bank, we should buy that land. He wouldn't do it. He said, too much, we don't need that much land. I said, it's right there beside mama. I wanted to be that close to her. I said, it's right there beside your mama. He wouldn't buy it. He wouldn't buy it.
Which land are you
Is
talking
that
about?
Bob Selden's house, do you?
Yeah, the guy, the lawyer that lives.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, he jumped on it, yeah. And that's what she's been out here now, almost, it's been
Oh,
good, almost 20 years, like.
yeah.
But the, you know, the price of land then wasn't like it is now. I mean, close,
Yeah.
but not like it is now.
No.
Nothing's like it is now.
Yeah.
There used to be a road, I don't know if this is the right spot, is that, where there used to be a road that actually kept going towards either St. Louis Road or Middleburg or
And
something?
this is this one right here, they closed it. They-
Yeah.
they-
Like,
Cause it's no bridge there anymore.
Beaver Dam Bridge? That's Beaver Dam Bridge.
No.
Beaver Dam Bridge, 'cause I had a girl come to my house about 2 weeks ago, and she said, is the road open? I said, what road? And Beaver Dam, right?
Yeah.
So did the road come down from that house down past Green Acre Farm down to Beaver Dam Bridge Road?
Yeah.
I think so, yes.
Yeah,
did?
I think
we
it
were,
did.
we were
Yeah, I
we
think
were
it
doing
did.
our research, and it might have been Sarah that told us about that road.
Yeah.
It was no longer.
Cause it is, you know, to go on St. Louis Road up here to cut across, it saved quite a bit. You know, if you think about it.
Yeah.
You know, back then they would walk, you know, it was like,
If you were coming towards Philomont, crossing over Beaver Dam Bridge, then you had the choice of either going straight or coming up
To the
towards
right.
Snickersville.
well, it's right here.
Hey, was that Leith? Is that Leith?
No,
we-
No,
no,
Leith
Leith
is
is
down on the
closer
other
to
side.
here.
I think what they're asking is like, if you were coming towards Philomont off of Beaver Dam Bridge, is it called Green Acre?
It was Green Acre.
Green
Farm.
Apple, Green Apple.
Green Apple Farm? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Green Apple.
Yeah, that's the
So if,
TV show.
if that drive, or that driveway, if that continued up through the woods towards Snickersville, there was a separate road to get to
You don't
Snickersville.
have to.
Okay.
Because they referred,
That's a-
on my property, they referred to,
Uh-huh.
a bunch of people and told me there was there's a sunken road there.
Yes.
Is that?
It was on either side.
That's
of the
next to
highway.
Dave's.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And then if you go down to that old house and look toward Beaver Dam Bridge Road at the right time of year, you can still see from the train kind of where the road had been.
Very clear, it's excavated, graded, you know, and the road grade is smooth, and you see the hills on both sides of it, all covered with green now with brush and everything, but it's there, it's very clear.
And then I gotta tell you about her going to school, oh my God. She went to Bath to school in the evening, they had adult education classes. She wanted to finish to the 8th grade, and she did, cause my mother went too, and she did, she finished.
How old was she then?
How old was she then? That was a long time ago. My God. A good 50 years ago. I was a child, I'm 65. So it was definitely a good 50 years ago, at least. And she did it and passed it. And after that is when she went and got a license.
Oh, okay.
She would drive people, I'm telling you, she would drive, like, her and Fenton would go places, and she would drive home, or she would drive people to the store. She did not have, she knows that she a bit more hand, no less than the man on the moon. But she knew sooner or later she would get caught, so she went on and,
She took a lot of people in also.
oh God, did she take anybody that didn't have a place to live, she took them in. Whether she knew them or whatever, you know. She just asked them, you know, just like, give me $2 to $5 for me, $5 a week, help on groceries. You know, stay here till you can get up on your feet a little bit. And she did that with a lot of people. That's why so many people know her.
Yes. Could you say a little bit about, you referred to her as the mother of the church a couple of different places. Could you tell us a little bit about what that means?
What that means, long living member. She's the longest living member of that church. She went to school, she went to school too. And she went to school there too. It was another church. I don't know if Wanda remember or not.
I don't remember that.
It was another church But it was a school also, because my mother went to school there, and it was a long walk. Like Miss Murray and them, that was a long walk to school.
She walked a lot.
She walked a lot. Yes, she did. Walked and skipped. 'Cause she was good, skipped and hop. She was good friends with Bob's wife. They grew up together. As children, they played together. Bob across the street.
Longby. Yeah.
Yes, his wife that passed. They were friends. But what it means being a mother of the church, you're the longest living member.
Mhm.
You know, she's a trustee of the church.
Trustee.
You know,
Which means that she manages collections and
Yes.
treasury.
yes. She managed the kitchen. She had finally, over so many years, told Sarah, "Well, I think I can trust you with it now." So, you know, the kitchen. She finally let Sarah have the kitchen. Sarah was in charge of the kitchen, but she was a trustee. Miss Murray saw many ministers in that church. One time it was, you know, couldn't get a seat. You could not get a seat in that church when you went down on Sunday. But, you know, as people died, their children don't bother with church. So right now it had, one time we had 22 people. I was pretty proud of that. And then the pandemic
Yeah.
happened. You know, people stopped coming. And then,
Did they come back?
no, they still haven't
Oh.
come. They still haven't come.
Carla, how did she come to know Truman?
Oh, Hollis?
Yeah.
You know, Truman was a native of Philomont.
Mhm.
You know, so
Born in your house.
Yeah, it's one of my house.
So it's
Yeah.
where Tom's house.
they
Worked for the dairy.
he was out here a long time, and Mr. Murray knew the entire family
So they may have known each other as children?
as children. Yeah. Because if Truman was living, he'd be up there a little bit.
He was born in 1928.
Yeah, see, and Miss Murray was born in 27 or 28, but I know they had a lot of history.
So they were childhood friends then?
Childhood friend, they could tell you a lot of things.
Mhm.
Yeah, they could. He was the nicest guy. You could never met a man
Yeah.
as nice as that gentleman. He told my husband, see, my husband hard-headed, we listened to him. Truman was a mechanic down Fairfax County
School system.
school system. He fixed the buses, he fixed the cop cars, pretty good. This gentleman probably know it. He excellent mechanic. He told Sam, he took him under his arm, he said, "Come on down here with me. You'll have a good job, you have a good retirement." And Sam was like, "It ain't enough money, I can't take care of my family with it." And he told him sooner or later it will work itself out. Listen to me. He said, "You know, we can do cars on the weekend, on the side." Wouldn't listen to him. Mr. Truman left there with a lucrative retirement, really good. Yeah, he told me all about it. And then he asked me, he says, "He's still hard-headed?" I said, "Yes, sir, still hard-headed." But yeah, they were very close. Yeah.
Calling the church that was on Lime Kiln. When did that burn down?
No, it had to be late 60s.
And so
I
that
want to
church-
say probably 65, something like that, because it took them a while to get the land and to build,
Yeah, I was gonna say, so what did they do in between after the church burned down and had the
pretty
church?
much met at people's houses.
Oh, okay.
Some of them even shipped over to Shiloh in Middleburg until things were ready for them.
Where was the church on Lime Kiln? I'm trying to.
On Lime Kill.
Yeah.
Oh, when you go on Lime Kill, go past Delta Farm, you know where Delta Farm?
Sure.
Go past Delta Farm, around that curve, right there to the left.
Oh.
Where that
Oh,
pretty
really?
house, yeah. where that-
So it's Steptoe Hill Road?
Just past.
Yeah, and you'll still see the
Oh,
steps.
okay.
You'll still see the steps.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll still see the steps that go up in the church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up on a hill, kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was up on the hill.
I see, you can see a foundation there.
Yeah,
Oh, so
Yeah.
that's the foundation of the church.
that was the foundation of the church. And there was a guy back there, John Henry Williams, at the junkyard. I know y'all probably knew
Yeah,
that.
they're not shekels
So
too.
you
Yeah.
didn't know. You didn't
My
know.
dad's a mechanic. We were down there when I was a
Right.
little kid.
You know, there's so many cars, you don't know if there was the cars at the church and the cars at the junkyard. You know? You didn't know, but that, he was, part of the family, so. Yeah, but that's what the first church was, and I can get some history about that too, really.
And when was it built? Do you know?
The new church?
No, so the church that burned, when had it been built?
I don't know, but I know I can get some history on it. There's a book at the church.
For a while.
They kept notes very well. Pictures of all the other ministers that were there. Yeah, they got all the history in the whole church.
You know,
I can't remember who told me, but they said John's, like that junkyard down there, they said that would be a little rough.
John Henry Williams, yes. But he died, the kid sold it though. There was a lot of cleaning out there. A lot of cars are buried up there, under that dirt up there. A lot of cars, I'm sure. Yeah, he helped a lot of people to fix cars.
Do you have any memories of the old quarry?
The
The
quarry.
old quarry?
You know it's dangerous, very dangerous, because Sammy had a friend, he had a very close friend that drowned. Boy, who lived in Hamilton, yeah. He did, he drowned. The rest of them couldn't get him because they'd been gone too, if they had tried to get him, you know. But it was dangerous, they really had no business over there, you know, so it was mighty dangerous. But the next meeting come, I'm gonna bring, Kathy's supposed to come, a niece.
Yes.
She knows
She
him,
was telling-
she grew up in
Mary
the
Lee's
same
daughter.
house, that's another thing. Now, here, Miss Mary, she did domestic work all them years, and, Kathy was smart, her grandchild Kathy Warner. Kathy was very smart. She told her, look, Kathy, you wanna go to school, pick a school, I'll see that you get that, you know, that we'll help you. And she got accepted in Hampton Institute, which was private, very expensive. And Kathy was very smart, but you know, through domestic work, she sent them money every week. Yes, she did. It helped her. When Kathy came, Sam and I went to the graduation, she came out with 2 degrees, a BA and an MA. Yes, she
I
did.
spoke to her today, and she's excited about coming. She couldn't make it
She
tonight,
couldn't,
but she has made it kind of a personal goal for her to record the history of her family here.
Yes, yes.
And she's very academic. When I
Yes.
spoke to her today, she's very enthusiastic about coming in and doing a similar kind of presentation.
And see, she grew up in the house with her, so she knows, trust me, more so than I do. But I can find out a little history for you of the other church.
I'm just curious.
And that's why they changed the other church to New Zion. It was first just Zion Baptist Church, and the new one's New Zion Baptist Church.
Well, just, you know, being in Brazil Chapel, you know, I love walking through the chapel, you know, having it moved, you know, a mile
Right.
back from down the road, is always such an incredible history.
Right.
That's interesting about another church.
A lot of history.
Thank you so much for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Come
We'll have more information for you. I just gotta dig up pictures. I wanna dig up pictures for y'all to see her with Truman and Peg.
That'd be great.
She took a lot of pictures. She's got pictures of her grandmother, great grandmother. This is how good Miss Murray was. When she was, her and her husband had just got married, had children of her own. Her mother took sick. She came home one day from work, she told her husband, she said, look, I gotta move back home. You know, she said, Mama's sick, we don't know what it is, but I gotta go back home. She took care of her mother. Took care till she died. Yes, she did. Ever since I've known her, she's taken care of somebody, you know. A lot of people through here, she's got a little bit of dementia. She knows me, for some apparent reason, she knows me.
Who can forget you?
I don't know about you, Russ, but she does.
I think no one could forget me, so.
But we'll have more information for you. Hopefully, we'll film the next meeting.
Yeah, that
And we can always, we also have like an event night, which can be on a Thursday where we can get more time.
Oh,
So, we can also consider that. But we're glad extra people came to the
Exactly.
meeting tonight to hear you, because it was so important, but we wanted to do more. Because we even try to get Laura Pearson to, we're gonna have to record her.
yes.
She
Oh
doesn't
my
wanna
God,
come
Miss
out,
Laura.
But she's
Yes.
got so much information.
You're talking about a kind person,
You know,
nice lady.
yeah, she's a
Yes.
nice lady.
I miss her too.
She loves visits.
She doesn't live here anymore, does she?
Laura Pearson?
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
she's
sure.
back.
Oh,
Is she?
yeah, no, she's there, and she loves
She
visitors.
is.
She loves visitors. She loves to be
I
visited.
didn't know. I have to check that out.
Yes, please do. She loves having visitors.
Well, we'll have more information.
Thank you.
I'd like to
Like I
thank
said,
you
God,
very
if
much.
God is willing. And her daughter was just about to come, so y'all could meet her. Oh, God. You'll never forget her as long as you live.
I have that.
One in a million. God.
Well, thank you so much for
Oh,
coming.
y'all are welcome. You're welcome.